A very good morning, Namaskar. I am Shashi Bala. On behalf of India Smart Grid Forum, I welcome you all on India Smart Utility Week 2023. I extend a very warm welcome to all our esteemed speakers. So today we will be covering the topic digitalization of utilities, digital twins and digitalization roadmaps. I'm looking forward for an interactive sessions. I would like to invite all of our speakers on the stage. Mr. Richard Schomburg, he'll be chairing and moderating the session. So please come on stage and take this seat. Mr. Ilad Shaviv, sir, please come on stage and take this seat. Mr. S. Samantha, sir, please come here and take this seat. Mr. Rajpal Gohar, Mr. Jayant Kumar, yes, thank you. Mr. M.S. Shantakumar has joined us virtually. Mr. Sainath, sir, please come on stage. Mr. Chitre, please come on stage. And the last, Mr. Vineet Mishra, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So moving ahead, now I would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Richard to start the session. Sir, please, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's get started without any further ado, because we have many things to cover on a quite exciting theme. It's not a new theme, but things are moving. And we have actually here on stage, I think, the key representatives of the different stakeholder categories that can make things happen. And without getting into any introduction about the subject matter, they will cover the subject matter. I want just to share with you the red line of the session that we're going to deliver here. Basically, we're going to start with some views from utility persons, showing what some utilities are dreaming of, what they're doing, what they want to do, strategic plans, and maybe also some warnings from them. Then I like that we move into some solutions that exist today that are even exhibited here on the exhibition floor. And of course, to keep moving, we will need to have a very well-trained workforce. And then we're going to have one presentation about how to actually make progress in that dimension. And of course, in all this dialogue about digitalization, being myself a utility person, I know that usually we underestimate the amount of data that we have to manage to actually achieve whatever we're going to discuss before. And we're going to end by a presentation by a company that can handle that kind of huge amount of data and the kind also of the time response that is needed to get any value from those data. So without any further ado, I would like to invite, I will first invite the presentation from the utilities. And of course, given the number of presenters here, and given the quite reduced time of this session, it's going to be fully packed. And I really ask my colleagues here on the dais to help me manage the time and really do your best to actually stay within the 10 minutes time credit. Without any further ado, I would like to invite, I will start by a utility presentation. Let's start with Tata Power. Please.
Thank you, Richard. Should I play the presentation?
Your presentation would be projected from there, sir.
Okay.
I need to take this. Please start.
So, yeah, there is a different presentation, Samantha, Tata Power, yeah. Okay, yeah. It will be a learning session as well. So by the time actually they are projecting the presentation, let me share, Tata Power is a vertically integrated power utility. And what we do, we work in transmission, distribution, generation, renewable, as well as beyond the meter. There are a lot of services, whether it's EV, home automation, and many other stuffs, energy as a service. Can you go to the next, please? Then I can actually talk about it. So for digitalization, actually, this is all about creating efficiency or the need. Who will change it, like slide? It's not here. Okay, oh, sorry, yeah, okay. So, in distribution, it's all about efficiency because millions of customers and there are thousands of transactions every day, whether it's a customer facing or back office jobs. That is why we believe it is all about operational excellence, whether it's for the commercial or for the operation or for the any other stuff. And there are different type of components like transactional system or sensor, whether it's a IoT or meter or substation automation or other stuff. And there are geospatial or that kind of a system or reporting analytics. These are actually foundational technologies in each and every utility, whether it's a distribution, transmission, you will find, even in generation or in renewable. Renewable, a little bit of different stuff, but we work only with this, but we work to solve some purpose. Like if I talk about the objectives on the right hand side, the consumer experience, like we would like to create more and more digital self-service. Say for example, no power call, say 5 years back, we used to see that 2/3 or almost 70% calls to the call center were used to be for the no power. And it was used to eat up a substantial amount of resources, whether it's a operation O&M cost or the time as well as convenience, inconvenience to the customer. So we had created some digital channels, multiple channels, channel of their choice, which WhatsApp or chatbot or mobile app or IVR or many other stuff. Now we have automated almost 74% of our no power call through the digital channels. And it had actually saved a lot of money as well as convenience to the customer. In quantified term, if I say my reliability numbers have been reduced by 1/3, like from in 3 years time, but my no power call registration has been increased by 3 times, almost like 10 times registration calls increased because of the consumer awareness and reach of digital. But that actually helped to identify an outage, almost like 90% improvement, and that actually helped us to reduce the mean time to restoration. That increased the ultimately the billable energy and definitely helps us on the billing efficiency and many other stuff. But it is replicable because we are working in 7 distribution companies also are serving. So it is being replicated in all other. In the same way, like the omni-channel contact center or the digitalization of the work process, like there are a lot of things like KYC, PAN card, Aadhaar card, all those stuff. Those are actually, we have solved through the RPAs and some image analytics. Like in case of operation, it is identifying an insulator fault. So, or identifying a PAN card. I'm saying that from technology stuff, it's the same thing, but actually we are solving different problems through this, and we are trying to actually use the same workforce with a better informed decision as well as automated rather than a person driven. So, consumer experience, operational excellence, and stakeholder expectation. Stakeholder expectation means because we all also doing the acquisition not from only Tata Power Equity. We have also actually called upon different investors and created a platform like the financial institutions, whether it's a NBFC kind of our bank, and they are putting in their equity and we are also putting in our equity, and we are creating value for both the parties. But you know that when actually we do acquisition of a transmission company, we need to implement the project as fast as possible so that the same investment starts generating cash. So for that thing, there are two phases. One is till commissioning and there is post commissioning. So in both the cases, we need digitalization for faster implementation as well as visibility by the management so that it can take care. And also for many non-tangible, intangible things, which are not really directly related to revenue, but for the brand or the employees, like the safety and aesthetics, a lot other parts. So we use, that is why we also take care of the stakeholder expectation, whether it's an investor or society or the statutory part. Now, just an example, because we cannot go on talking about all kind of digitalization, say for outage management. It can come from the customer from different channels. As I talked about, it is creating a notification in the back end, the CRM system, and then it is going to the ADMS and creating outage order, or it is coming from the, say, some of the customers who are actually enabled with the smart metering through the last gasp. And definitely we need to keep some time gap to take care also the automated restorations due to changeover and all of the stuff. And through that, we are also identifying the outage at the higher level so that proactively we can communicate to the customer, we know you are out of power and this is your notification number, this will be restored in such and such time. When actually we are delivering it to the mobile app or the call center, there are automated pings or actually initiated pings through which actually they come to know whether the meter is without power or not, because there were 30% wastage in our workforce for the power loss beyond the meter, where actually utility has got nothing to do, but that was wastage of our resources. So we could actually try to save a lot of them, and we can create a value-added service, but which we have not done so far, but yes, there is a thought process. And when actually we are delivering it to the field force automation team, they are also enabled with many other historical data as well as some other data. Say for, there are also no power call where actually we have disconnected the customer for the non-payment. So those are actually also information we give so that we can save on our resources, at the same time we bring on our efficiency. And if I talk about through the digitalization, like we are trying to reimagine the consumer experience through a single platform by integrating not only distribution experience, but also the experience of the new business services like the home automation or the electric vehicle or the energy as a service. There are a lot of other services we are trying to create. So consumer is a consumer. He should not be consumer of distribution, consumer of home automation or home consumer. So we are trying to reimagine that, and through the different channels, whether it's a RPA for back office automation, whether it's a bank reconciliation, or whether it is even to avoid a IT development for the Z development to this part, or a lot of actually staff people do on Excel, which is actually value addition, but at the same time we wanted to get rid of for that thing, or even to identify the fault or the identify the KYC document. We use different type of technologies, but slowly we have seen the adoption in the digital payment or the smart interactive bill we have created, which is almost like a replica of the CRM, and all the FAQs customer actually places, so that these are parallel channels compared to the customer care or this. And during the COVID time, we also found that customer want a remote connect, not physically, because we cater to 18 to 108 that is the age group of customers. Some people want to speak to only a human being, some people do not want to, and some people do not want to face anyone physically. That number is increasing, so that is why this number is also increasing. So that is how we are actually increasing the expectation and all. And I would like to stop here, but I wanted to say that technologies are at place, but that is used for different purposes in transmission or EV or this thing like Google API. That serves the purpose for the no current crew, as well as that serves the purpose for the identifying the payment collection center, and that also helps the EV customer to identify where actually is the nearest this thing. But we also deliver with how much time is going to charge, and if I can serve with the Starbucks or many other stuff, we do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. It gives, I think, in a nutshell, really what the utilities are looking for. We see really that, okay, there is the zero paper thing. There is also very important, the payment and all the transactions is actually benefiting a lot from this digitalization. And let's keep moving in our journey for this panel, where let's see what another utility is doing and thinking about digitalization. I would like to invite Elad Shaviv to share with us the perspective of the Israeli electric company.
Yeah, thank you. If you can just please put my... I still don't see the presentation up there. So until you put up the presentation, I'll just introduce myself. So my name is Elad Shaviv, and I'm the head of business development of the Israeli Electric Corporation. The Israeli Electric Corporation is the sole power utility in Israel. Today, we hold about 50% of the generation, 100% of the transmission and the distribution, and nearly 100% of the supply of energy. Oh, here it is. So you can see here. Of electricity in Israel. Israel has a few specific characteristics. We are an energy island, so we can't count on anyone else supporting us. We have a very challenging geopolitical conditions. Now we also can count on local gas, but until recently we couldn't count on any energy sources in Israel. We are one of the most attacked companies in the world from a cyber perspective. I'm talking about the Israeli Electric Corporation. And right now, even though we are the dominant provider of the national electricity system and we are a critical provider, we have to deal with extreme changes in grid requirements, opening up to competition, the electric vehicles, entering of gas. So we need to face a lot of changes in a very dynamic situation. And that's what actually I would like to present here, how we are dealing with that. So a very known quote from Charles Darwin about the evolution: it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. And I think that this is something that we as a power utility have to face, and it's something which is new to us, because for the last century, the electric utilities, of course, they experienced various changes, but not as many as we see today. And to adapt from a very stable environment into a dynamically changing environment, it's very complicated. We look today on what we like to see as the 3 Ds: digitalization, decentralization, and decarbonization. So decarbonization brings to us all the renewables which are less predictable, less controllable that we used to deal with. Decentralization brings enormous number of new actors into the market with different systems, maybe not standardized systems, very dynamic changes to the market. And digitalization actually in the presentation of a previous speaker was really setting the scene to what I wanted to talk about, because if you just look on the different systems, the ERP and AMI, and all the other systems that you could see there in security, you could see that it's a very dynamic system. And we have seen in the IT world how small actors are actually quite fast growing up beyond the legacy actors. And we need to ensure that as a utility, we want to stay ahead. We want to move into a systematic approach. We can't really look just now on every element by itself, for example, even just the ERP or just a transmission, just a distribution. We need to have a systematic approach and be able to have a proactive and dynamic approach, which is something which was seldom requested from a utility. So what we've done in order to address those new requirements, so there are a few key requirements that we needed to address. So first of all, vulnerability mitigation and proactive gap identification. So we need, with this very complicated new structure, to see how can we validate possible occurrences before they happened. We want to have a dynamic operational technology, simulation and validation, so we can have very frequent tests, because if we used to have maybe a single time test before we put up a new power plant or a substation, now we may experience changes, either upgrades, new deployments, on a monthly or a weekly basis. And we need to ensure that we are dynamic enough to address that. We need to have the ability to have hybrid test simulation, so we can simulate the system as it is now, but we have new systems, maybe systems that are not yet software modeled, not tested. We want to connect them and simulate the whole system. And if anything happened, we want to make sure that we have the ability to have post-recovery process analysis to understand what happened, why it happened, how can we ensure that it will not happen again. So what we've done, we have actually internally developed a system. It's a software system that we call a Sophic Zone, and it is a dynamic platform that enables us to emulate, simulate, and validate operational events and cybersecurity scenarios on existing and planned changes to the network. We've developed it, and we're now deploying it also around the world, because it's actually a proposed software. And what it does is that we receive dump of information from the network. The system builds and simulates the whole network, including both the software and the hardware components, the operational systems like substations, relays, and the software systems, the IT systems. And then we run various operational processes, the processes that actually the customer is looking for, and we run also a whole type of scenario of security scenarios. And all this is done outside of the operational system, and it enables the operator to see all kind of impacts. So never mind if this is impact on security scenarios or if those are impacts of operational changes, and you do that before you do it on the network. It looks, second, whoop. Whoop. I don't manage to get a very good, do I need to? Yeah. So I have here just a few screenshots. Basically, it provides a dashboard. So after we have built, automatically we've built a network of systems, we can run, and you can see here, you will see two different type of screenshot. One screenshot is of operational events. In this case, you can see, I don't think you can read, but there is a cutoff in one of the locations. And then we run your own process. How do you deal with this cutoff in one of the lines? And what you can see there, that over here, that eventually the system was managed to recover automatically from the cutoff of the line, which means that the system works. You can't really see, but if you go down in the details, you would see that the system did not receive a 100% score because it took it quite a long time to recover, but eventually it recovered. So this is an example of a simulation that we did on an operational case. And then we are connected, one second, we're connected to the Mitre security scenarios, and we can run different scenarios. And here you can see an attack scenario. So we simulate a real attack scenario. And in the middle, you can see the red signs. So we had there 7 different attacks as a scenario. Only one of them was blocked, and 6 of them was actually successful. So the system immediately provides a dashboard of what happened if you do something. Now, what we can do there is tomorrow you want to upgrade one of the systems, or you want to integrate a new system. We first of all simulate it here. We run the either operational process or the security scenarios, or both of them. And then you get a recommendation of what you actually need to do in order to ensure that you don't have these processes. And this is the high-level dashboard. Then, for example, just here on the security, you can drill down. And then you can see which processes succeeded. All those blue ones are actually processes that were completed, meaning this is from the perspective of the attacker. Those were successful attacks that they have managed to conclude, and the red one is the only one that they did not manage to conclude. So let's assume that you are doing an upgrade. You have no way to know how this would affect the system. And today, and then we do this simulation, and today you get these type of new systems and new upgrade really on a weekly, monthly basis. Very, very complicated systems that it's very tough to estimate how a small change in one location or in one system would actually impact the rest of the system, and then what would be the impact of a security case in case of an operational occurrence, or vice versa. An operational occurrence would have on the system vulnerability. So the benefits that we see from this, first of all, is a safe simulation and validation in near real time, but without affecting the operational system. And that's very important. It simulates actual operating systems, processes, and operational model. So it's the actual systems that you have. Again, it can do a hybrid simulation, so you can connect a real equipment into the system. The system runs as a software on a dedicated hardware, but you can connect either an equipment or any type of software that we simulate there, and then you run your operational models. So it is very customized for each power utilities. High-level dashboard, as you have seen, with prioritization and the ability to have drill down, reporting capabilities, and recommendations. So you can get an immediate access to what you want to achieve, and then drill down into it. And it evaluates real-life attacks and operational scenarios prior to any changes in the network. So at the end of the day, it ensures a better and smoother reliability of the network, both from an operational perspective and from a cybersecurity perspective, and reduces the amount of cost and effort to recover from any sort of occurrences after the deployment. So I think that I've more or less met my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So through those two utility presentations, we see that actually there are limitless use cases. And of course, we have been sampling here a number of critical applications that our utilities are looking for. Each time, this is involving many different systems. So a very big challenge is the number of systems that start, and there might be also already some legacy in place. And of course, this is actually involving IT and OT, which might not have been designed originally to cope with each other. And also, a real concern for utilities is that it's not just starting from scratch and dreaming of a new system and wait that the system is designed and implemented to put it to work. No, for utilities, they have to fly the aircraft, if you allow my metaphor. They have to fly the aircraft and they have to actually change the engines while the aircraft is flying. And I think this is really a very, very tough challenge for the IT people in the utilities. And also, this is where it was very interesting to see the strategy proposed to be able to do this change of engine while the aircraft is flying by actually eliminating as much as possible the risks. So I would like just that we complete the vision on the needs by a presentation from a consultant who is talking with many utilities. So please, Vinita, the floor is yours, and help me keeping the 10 minutes.
Thank you. So, can I give my machine there? This HDMI will work out? Thank you. Sorry. Good morning, everyone. So after these two very interactive sessions where we could hear our elite panelists about a distribution company in India, distribution company at global, largely from cyber standpoint, from customer standpoint, I was going through the presentation which was presented by my colleague, what Tata Power is doing in terms of digital customer aspect. So I'll run through a short video subject to my Wi-Fi hotspots allow me to give you uninterrupted video. So this talks about how the whole dynamics of the sector is getting changed. It's not only distribution utility, the complete ecosystem is getting changed now. So we are living in the era where we are talking about energy transition. So from generation or even before generation, so it's transiting from generation, transmission, and distribution. So I'm running a short video. Oops, so my Wi-Fi allow me. Just a second. Voice?
A seismic shift across the global energy landscape is fracturing the business model utilities have been using for decades. In this transformative age, advancing technology has diversified the grid, unlocking alternative energy sources and enabling two-way power flows. The energy sector is on a countdown to a new and fundamentally different global energy ecosystem.
Do we have Wi-Fi direct? Any Wi-Fi?
The way electricity is generated and delivered is changing. More renewables are being connected to the grid than ever before. Solar is becoming increasingly popular as costs plummet. Battery storage is becoming more affordable. Electric vehicles are an increasingly common sight on our roads. And decentralized microgrids are becoming economically viable and an increasingly attractive alternative to traditional grid systems. Enabling technology underpinned by digital is also reshaping the marketplace and the infrastructure via which energy is consumed. Domestic solar and battery use is creating prosumers who are generating an excess of electricity and feeding it back to the grid. Blockchain is just one of the technologies facilitating peer-to-peer trading of this electricity. Smart meters and smart appliances are allowing greater control of energy consumption in the home, whilst also giving energy companies unique insights into consumer behavior. And technologies like artificial intelligence will be key to
So I think data is not, connection is not allowing me to run through this complete presentation video. So I can
helping
talk
energy
about this
companies analyze the vast quantities of unstructured data to deliver the active management required for the future digital grid. But what does all of this really mean for power and utilities companies?
I'll not take too much time.
Yeah, Vinita, please, maybe let's use your 5
EY
remaining
has
minutes
developed an
to
industry-leading
just
model
go to
to predict the
the
impact.
points you would like to share, complementing what the utilities have presented.
Just a
The video looks
of technology
great, but
trends.
it's not going to work here now. So, sorry.
No problem.
I know it's very frustrating because you wanted to offer a great experience, and of course, streaming does not allow you to do it. But then you're going to tell us, please, what would be, let's say, let me ask you just a quick question, if you need. What would be the 3 key requests you hear from the utilities you're consulting with?
So as the presentation was talking about, is the holistic transition of digital across the vertical. So as EY and under my personal capacity, I work with many Indian, almost more than 60% Indian utilities, and most of the global utilities and advanced utilities as well. So what we could infer, so I will touch base 3 pointers. One is what all are the emerging business model around these technologies. Second point, what all emerging technologies or fundamental platforms, basic platforms which are emerging in the market, and what utility needs to take care of. So these are the 3 points. So I spent decent time in my video, so I'll come to the point now directly. So these are the 28 emerging business model across 7 key pillars. So I'm talking about T&D right now because most of the participants in this forum are from T&D section. So transmission service provider, distribution service provider, aggregator, customer, e-mobility provider, and information provider. These are the 28 different business model based on the global market understanding. So for distribution service provider, if I talk about, so they are talking about renewable integration, network planning, theft detection. These are the key digital initiatives which are running in the market, and especially in India market, government is putting a big thrust around these initiatives. If I go for a new age electricity solution in terms of trading parts, so which are working as an aggregator, so traders are now talking about blockchain, and wherever, irrespective any sector, transmission, distribution, or customer side itself. So cyber security is the underlying digital innovation which everyone needs to take care of. So I'm not, in the interest of the time, I'm not running in details. If we talk about next utility standpoint, retail business, we are hearing a lot about smart metering, what's happening around smart metering, smart grid, but again, the point which I always like to highlight in each forum, we need to think beyond our operations also. Digital doesn't mean only, because every corner nowadays I'm hearing about smart metering, smart grid, but nowhere I'm listening digital finance. Ultimately, we need to take care of those part also. What we are thinking about digital finance, how we are thinking about digital smart workforce. So I would like to highlight the case studies, 1 or 2 utilities where I worked. The classic case study, we work with Ireland Utility as we. So what they are doing, they have developed a program for 7 years, complete digital transformation of the utility. And these are the underlying principles or themes where they were talking about. And within this 7 years program, they are not talking about the operation automation. Yes, that's a core, I would say, metering, billing, and operations are your bread and butter from the utility standpoint. But they are talking about more from employee side as well, from finance side as well. So they are talking about the digital workforce, smart workforce. Sorry. So if we see what happening around the technology space, digital enablers already says digital enablers are like cloud, social media analytics, mobile solutions, big data. These are already pretty set standard in the market. We see these are already, an Indian market, yes, is taking shape, but most of the utilities, at least in private utilities in India, they are pretty well set in this space. But government entities are also taking a good step in this area. And the innovation standpoint, if we talk storage, renewable energy, smart meter, EV, and electric grid, these are coming in, I would say, the next wave per se, where ministry is giving a big push to settle these kind of use cases. But if we talk about the real advantage or real benefit of digital, it is emerging technology. And everywhere I could see there are multiple sessions happened around ChatGPT, Metaphor, all those. So those are the emerging technologies. If we bucket out these emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, we can say generative AI, robotics, and we can go IoT, blockchain. These are the new technologies which are taking shape in the market. Again, skipping this, not running every use case. What utility should do that? So that's very important for utility standpoint. In my observation, utilities are typically following the mandate which is coming from ministry, and that is pretty much required also because ministry is looking the things in a holistic way and the need of the hour. But utility needs to take call at their end as well. They need to develop first complete digital transformation roadmap. So one utility which is vertically integrated, generation, transmission, and distribution, we worked with them. We could identify 156 use cases of digital for them. And now they are going for MVP, minimal viable product, which is, we say nowadays POC as well. They are based on the prioritization, small, medium, and large t-shirt size. So what they are doing, they are taking out the immediate priority use cases, and we are implementing those use cases as MVP for them. And based on the outcome, they will take it to the commercial rollout. So again, utility needs to think a holistic way. Again, smart metering is the one step which every utility is following it up, but need to see the larger picture. And now we are running the show of smart metering, but we need to see down the line 5 years what all are the prioritized use cases for utility and how they will do. They can start with the MVP as well. Thank you. I'm sorry you get turbulence from my video side. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Vinita, because you have made your best effort to actually pack a huge amount of information and also knowledge, because EY is a very, very famous and very credible organization, and definitely you offered here a very comprehensive analysis. I really invite you all even to get in touch with Vinita and check out actually these 156 use cases in which I am almost sure you're going to find out exactly what you would dream of. Thank you very much, Vinita. And this has actually closed the journey across the needs and the dream of the utilities. Now, let's go to the space of available solutions, because there are commercially existing solutions and even exhibited here in the exhibition hall. And we will have two presentations of that kind of solutions. And I would like to invite Jayant Kumar to actually share with us the excitement of the solutions he can provide.
Good morning to you all. How are you doing?
Great.
All right. Let's break a little bit silo. How many of you are from the utilities?
Yes.
That's a pretty good presentation. How many of you are from vendors? Good. I'm representing the whole vendor community, no worries. How many of you are from the consulting space? Excellent. So first of all, we are humbled to have a good utility representations as part of the session, and of course within the panel as well as in the audience. So I think it even behooves more upon me, Richard's request, that I better get done much less than 10 minutes so that you have time to ask questions. And Richard has given me a promise, if I do that well, he's going to give me a prize. Probably. All right. And Richard was talking about that there are some booths that he was referring to as part of the solution provider. He just forgot one line. The best booth that you have is from L&T, Larsen & Toubro, where I come from. So please go and visit. And right getting into the context and the topic of the discussion, to keep it simple, by the way, if you are looking at the brochure, the name from L&T is Sunil Singh. He couldn't make it. For those of you, I guess many of you are from Delhi, so he lives in Noida. So he couldn't come from Noida, which is just an hour drive, so I flew all the way from United States to make up for our commitment. So with that, I have to say that what we have discussed so far, let me just do a short recap just to make my point and the context even more clear. So what you heard from our two esteemed panelists from the utility, Mr. Samanta and Mr. Elliott, that one topic or domain was more focused on the distribution operation, the outage management, the smart metering operation, customer experience. I think I summarized your deck pretty well. And next presentation was more on I would say the scenario operation for the grid operation, along with the simulation capability that one needs to have when you are talking about the digital. So those were the kind of two different things that you heard. And our esteemed panelists from the Ernst & Young, he definitely gave the full broad brush of what are the new things that's going on and what are the comprehensive way of looking at it. So with that, and he also described the kind of a landscape of the industry. When he's talking about the business model, what he really meant is when you go to the States, based on the regulatory construct in the region, you'll have different players. And similarly, in India, based on the regulatory construct, you have different players. And each of the player will have to be looking at what the digitization should be. And he was kind of elaborating the topic of the panel itself, that when we talk about utilities, what do we mean? So these are the different class of the utility, I would say, entities, if I may say. And that's what he was talking about. So with that context, my discussion is going to be very focused and simple and concise, that I want to pick one given entity or even one given operation within entity, and then I want to make a comment on how we as solution provider look at a given entity, and entity could be a transmission company, a distribution company, generation company, or a aggregator, or a curtailment service provider, or a merchant owner, you name it. The point I want to make is that when you look at a generalized entity, if I may say, you're going to see that it's not about a single element of operation. A generalized utility, if you have to put it in one line, it's a combination of generation operation, grid operation, asset operation, power transaction operation, customer transaction operation, and then the back office operation. So these are the different processes and the segments that the utilities do have. So my first message to you is that we, L&T as a solution provider, have taken a very holistic approach to have an integration solution platform, which is L&T Spark, and please visit our booth, you will get to see. And the purpose is that how to provide a solution, the digital solution, holistically for a given entity across all operations. Typically, that has not happened in the past because every vendor, every solution came from certain domain, and they specialized in that domain. And having said that, I must also emphasize, and I wanted to give you this second message as an important message, that we think that the digital technology is new in the power industry. That's not true. I'll suggest you to just refer to 3 articles. You should go and look at New York 65 blackout and what it led to, what is called the North Electric Reliability Council in the United States. And we were solving how to manage electrons in the transmission and distribution digitally back in 70s. So we in power industry has been working on digitalization since then. And the reason why that's relevant and what I am really trying to convey my message, that we as L&T, we respect all proven products and all proven building blocks that we as industry have been bringing to the bear, I would say since late 70s and early 80s. So our approach for L&T Spark platform is enable all those goodies that is there in silos, bring them together, and provide a holistic solution to solve the entire enterprise problem in an integrated, comprehensive, and most importantly, in a way you can derive multiple values from your asset. At the end of the day, utility operation is about you are investing into the asset and you are doing the transaction and you are trying to monetize it. So the digitization from our perspective, of course, we are a technology solution provider, but we are focused on how do we bring all the different pieces together and commonalize and help utility reap the benefit, the multiple value streams of the asset across all the different operational elements, namely generation operation, transmission operation, distribution operation, grid operation, asset operation, customer operation, power transaction operation. This is a very involved topic, but I have to win my prize. So I will just leave this thought with you from the integration solution platform for enabling digital solution across the enterprise function. That's what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this passionate and really enticing presentation, where I really invite everyone here to pay a visit to the booth to actually check out the solution and the piece of solution that can be demonstrated there. And you will see for yourself how it covers actually, how much it covers from the utility needs or from the 156 use cases that EY has modeled. We have actually 2 more solution providers presentation. One will be from Hitachi, from Mr. Shanta Kumar, who actually is online. He is in the metaverse. So can he hear us? Yes?
Yes, I can hear you very much. Very good morning.
Good morning. So, of course, you know the rule of the game. You have 10 minutes maximum, really maximum, please, to actually convey as much as you can what your company can cover from the needs and dreams that have been expressed by the utilities and by our consulting friend.
Yes, I think I will be presenting myself, right? I hope.
Yes, sir. Please do that.
Okay, just confirm to me when you can see my screen.
Yeah, not yet. Can we just pump up the volume just a little bit?
Can you see my screen, please?
No slides, but we can see you.
Oh, okay. I will try again, sorry.
No, I guess it would be good if you can start actually
Sir, you want
commenting.
me to present the slides? I can do that.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Okay, sure. Just give me a minute, sir.
Okay, presentation will come in. I am Shanta Kumar, as already introduced. I am representing Hitachi Energy, specifically grid integration business, where we do take care of the integration of renewables and other generation sources in terms of HVAC or HVDC transmission technologies. So whether it is HVDC or HVAC, from the digitalization context, it is more or less we are aligned with the requirement from the various utilities and customers. And basically what we are trying to present today is that how a digital twin integrated with various tools, including the artificial intelligence, AR, VR technologies, as a common platform can help to improve the overall performance of the substations or the utility transmission systems. At the same time, also provide a platform where they can share the knowledge, know-how, and then provide the required training time to time, and then how they can skill and reskill the overall workforce present in the present dynamic environment. So whatever I use as a one case study is mainly considering the project which we are doing. However, the technology or the common platform which I present today can be used for any kind of, whether it is already existing station or the transmission corridor, or also can be utilized for the new systems which various utilities are going to integrate along with the existing systems. So can you go to the next screen? Yeah, we do have a common platform called as Identic, which is basically digital twin representing a physical asset like a HVDC station or HVAC station. And then it provides the overall navigation in terms of the 3D and 2D integration, and that based on the available technology, this Identic or the digital twin common platform will provide the overall integration facility to represent the physical asset. Can you go to the next? And then all the documentation and then the various platforms can be integrated. By click of the mouse, the customer or the operator can get the information, including the bookmarking and then the various other technologies available can be integrated for the easy navigation of the various documentation or the e-documents available on the common platform. It is possible that preventive maintenance can be scheduled, and also if there are any issues or the trippings in the station or the transmission corridor, the scheduler will help to provide the common platform across the various levels of the organization to understand how any kind of unwarranted incidents can be handled. At the same time, proactive maintenance can be managed across the various levels. Next. You can go a little bit fast because of the time. So the training facilities and then the various HSC platforms available can be integrated along with this platform representing the physical asset. So suppose if we talk about HSC as a very important requirement for a station, the overall physical asset can be represented with various areas, and then each area will have its own HSE requirement that can be represented with the various intelligent tools. So including the perimetry and CCTV images. So any entrant going without any permission, that can be alarm and then the report can be generated so that in the future such incidents can be avoided. So that is one typical example. Otherwise, this overall platform can provide the overall integrated way of representing the physical asset. Not only that, various requirements in terms of the HSE or the analytics or the preventive maintenance scheduling can be utilized for the overall life cycle management of the particular station or the overall corridor. Go to next. So this is one live case which we are implementing for a HVDC station. So you can see there the overall station is represented in 3D, and we can also represent each area with various colors and other the navigation methodologies. Along with that, documents can be stored with respect to individual area, individual equipment. With respect to training, we can also upload the videos and then the various documents, manuals. So time to time, the operator or the maintenance team can go through these videos, understand what is updated, new methodologies for serving the individual equipment and also the overall station. By click of the mouse, you can get the complete manual of, say, for example, a transformer or a HVDC station, where we can also do the bookmarking and other various techniques which are normally used for the documentation for the easy access. Go to next. In terms of the asset performance management, reliability and availability management is a key area for any critical asset. So intelligent tools can be built into this kind of requirements, and then along with this physical asset, the various activities or the happenings in the station can be represented in a more intelligent way, where the operator or the maintenance team can get advanced information that, for example, a transformer is having a overheating due to the continuous overloading of the station. That can be represented along with the intelligent tool, where it can predict that within so many hours or so many minutes the transformer is going to trip or it is going to fail in case if that particular event continuing for longer time. Yeah, go to next. So these are all the some of the key areas I would like to demonstrate here, that physical asset along with the online data through the IoT and ITs with the history data can be used, and then intelligent tools can be developed based on the individual and the overall customer requirement, and then that can be navigated through this digital twin called Identity, so that it will give a lot of proactive and predictive kind of maintenance information, and then alarms, and then the tripping limits available in the systems. And so overall life cycle can be managed in a better way.
Shanta Kumar, sorry to interrupt. As you're not in the room, you cannot see my signals, but I would like really to invite you to wrap up and come to a final point, because we still have 3 presentations to go, and I want really to have a chance that we can hear a minimum of each.
I have only one last slide. Yeah,
one. Okay, go ahead, and that's it. Thank you.
So this is the HVDC station. Those, of course, we are not represented in this Smart Utility Week, but it is available online. So anyone who is very much interested, they can come to us, and they can contact us. So we will show you how the complex HVDC station as a part of the digital twin called Identity can be represented for a mega city, and then how that digital twin can help the utility customers to maintain and upgrade the station time to time, provide a lot of information about what is really happening remotely, and then the station can augmented with the upgradation in the future, and that kind of information also can be updated time to time in the digital twin, so that the customer is well informed about what is really happening
This is
online
very impressive,
and
I
in the
think.
future.
I think we all
Thank you.
see here in the room, it's extremely impressive, but I need now to call for a big round of applause, otherwise the three speakers will not be able. Thank you very much, Shanta Kumar.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
Our pleasure. So I would like, without any further ado, inviting the third solution provider to share with us in really a nutshell. Please help me and give a little time for the two remaining speakers. So let's shoot for 8 minutes, just to raise the bar of the challenge.
Am I audible? So I will wait for my presentation to start. By the way, Richard is a very good salesman. He kept telling me the last slots are much better than the initial slots. So you will get much better reception.
And it's true.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for making time today. And I'm quite honored that our customers like Samantha is also here from Tata Power. I heard him over the phone today, heard him face-to-face for the first time, and number of partners around, and guests from Israel as well. So that is a great forum to be here. So I will just start. Do we have the presentation? Where is the? Yeah, so I'll make a start with the first part of the presentation. So today I am going to focus a lot more on the digital twin side of things. And there are a number of slides where actually we have talked about our journey in smart utilities. So first of all, I don't know how many of you are familiar with SEW. We are the platinum sponsor for this event. And SEW stands for Smart Energy Water. And we are #1 utility company, digital utility company from California. It was instituted in roughly year 2010, so more than a decade experience. And roughly 5 years back, we entered the Indian market. So we were very thrilled, and we were with the growth which we were getting in the US markets. And for 6-7 years, we have now almost 100+ customers in US alone from the utilities. And we entered India market with a lot of ambition. So one of the ambition which we have at India or globally, we are touching lives of roughly 1.5 billion customers right now. So there are utilities and the end consumers which are using our systems. And our ambition is to touch the lives of 4 billion end consumers, so which is almost half the world population. And that kind of volume can be had only in India, obviously. So that is the reason we are here. And in India, there are a lot of actually remarkable differences from the US market or European market. So most of our customer base actually today is based in Western countries, ANZ, Australia, and New Zealand to US and Europe. And in India, we have made a start, and we have roughly 6 customers now which are using our systems, and Tata Power is one of the unique ones. And apart from that, IOCL, Gujarat Gas, EDF India, there are a number of customers which are using our system. And what we specialize is, you can imagine a company that any utility which has core systems, which are like ERP, their core operation systems, they need not go anywhere. They can have all the digital experience from our systems. So we have 3 offerings essentially. One is called Smart Customer Mobile. So any portal or mobile solutions which we offer for the end consumers. We have Smart Mobile Workforce, which is a workforce solution, all the employees of utilities while they are in the fields, how they manage the operations. And then last, not the least, is Smart IQ, which is the analytical platform, and it is driven by the AI/ML. And our ambition in India, once again, is that we will be touching lives of, right now we are touching lives of roughly 5 million end consumers. We will be touching at least life of 500 million in next 2 years. That is the ambition which we come from. And it is looking quite likely. What we have done, we have partnered with IntelliSmart. I don't know anyone from IntelliSmart is here today. IntelliSmart is the company which is putting all the smart meters across the smart grids in India. And we are offering our solution without any licensing cost to all the DISCOMs. Only they will end up paying the hosting costs. So it is a very, very lucrative offer. With IntelliSmart, we have partnered to do that. So number of DISCOMs are already interested. 1 or 2 DISCOMs we are already working with. So sooner or later, we will be touching that mark of 500 million. So in India, there are a lot of remarkable things. I will not delve deep, as I said in the other slides. I will possibly go to the digital twins side of things. But India, the challenges are very different when we came to India. One thing was in Western world, something like very simple prepayment meters are used for customers which are not paying their debt on time. Here in India, almost every state is rolling only prepaid meters, which is very different from the Western countries. And some scenarios are very amazing here. Sometimes we receive a call that, oh, this customer had just paid their bill 5 minutes back, but they got disconnected. So customer might have been under debt for last 6 months, and last 5 minutes they paid their bill. So the ground situations are very different here. The reaction times, the customer end up paying almost at the last minute, and you have to stop the disconnections process for that one. So those kind of challenges are quite unique we find in India. But at the same time, the kind of volumes which we get, we never get anywhere. Prepaid meters, you talk about connections, disconnections. The amount of activity which happens in the system is quite unique with the population base here. So our focus from a digital vision point of view is a lot on the energy transition. But today, as I said, my colleague is actually in the parallel session is talking about on the other side of vision. I'll talk about what we are doing about the digital twins. That is what I thought will be more appropriate. So how we see ourselves, we are in the middle of an action where our CX platform is going to be used by different personas, whether it is an end consumer, a big business consumer, a commercial or industrial customer, or any utility employee which are serving the utilities. And we see that there are so many things which are happening around. The amount of data, the digital twin journey, when we entered, we thought we are actually going to generate data and insights, and that will suffice for that one. But it is not easier said than done. The amount of data which is coming and generating in grid, you know, all of you from utilities, last 20 years, when the smart metering journey itself come, the consumption data itself has become such a unique problem for the end consumers. Here you imagine for a particular state, you have at least 100,000 IoT devices to measure the gas pipeline or a water pipeline. And they are sending data every minute, and you have to make trends out of that data. And most important decision you have to take is that what data actually is meaningful, what data is not meaningful. A lot of raw data is not useful for making any insights, but some parts of the data are very, very important. So every day, every time you have to make those kind of things. So we are working with a lot of things, but IoT probably is a special attention. And industrial IoT there is the more important part. So whenever we are dealing with remote situations, the edge computing scenarios comes in. How you can have IoT device enabled to make some of the insights in the remote places where networks itself may or may not be there. You may have network connectivity for only 2 hours in a day. And after that, you have to make sure that whatever data has been generated, that seamlessly passes. So cloud is a very important implication. That kind of data you cannot house in a normal servers. It is a cloud-based computing. It is completely driven by AI/ML. And more importantly, there is that the insights which you need to generate, the outcomes which you need to generate for the utilities are the foremost. So our focus, when we have started looking at digital twins, digital twin actually is a very simple term, but very difficult to achieve. And there are 2 trends which we see primarily. In the new infrastructure, it is very easy to model digital twins. But when the utilities which are having infrastructure for last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that infrastructure is not actually enabled even with the basic services which are required for the IoT. And you have to enable everything through supplementary IoT devices. So those are the kind of two different zones which we get into. And how we are helping, sorry, Richard, I'm just finishing in 2 minutes. What we are trying to do on that one is that use number of innovative AI-based logic, artificial intelligence. So we write a lot of native algorithms as well, but we end up using a lot of services from AWS and Azure as well from the world. And we try to make those insights ready to be consumed at the need time. So in a day, if you are generating terabyte of data, you can actually make few insights out of it and keep that accumulation together. So somewhere you have to learn from the past experiences where if a gas pipeline or a gas leakage was detected and particular circumstances created it, you have to understand that what was the leading signals and how they are going to enable that next. So those are the kind of things. So last slide I will just end up here is there that analytical capability obviously is the foremost. AI ML is what we focus on. Cloud computing and data storage is fundamental to it. More importantly, technology point of view, when IoT devices are being enabled, the communication layer has to be quite strong. And that is where the technology edge we bring, we are using the latest from the Azure stack to make sure that we are not consuming any, even a microsecond delay in any of our computations. And end-to-end EV management is another area. And I think rest of the slides, Richard is looking at me with the aspiration
Perfect.
to this one.
Thank you.
But we have number of sessions, so please feel free to join our other sessions. And today evening as well in the award ceremony as well, we have some presentation. Thanks a lot.
A big round of applause for Rajpal, who has been packing so much information, really, really compelling information. And I really invite you all to pay a visit to this, to their booth here on the exhibition floor to really feel and touch what he has just let us discover here. Thank you very much, Rajpal. And I would like to invite now Jagdish Shritre regarding a key challenge, which is really the training of the workforce. Because to do all of this, it's not just a matter of infrastructure, of IT. You need to have people able to understand what it is about and how to use it and how to put it in place and start to operate it properly to get the value, the value proposition. So I really beg you to try to fit in as less time as possible, please.
Sure.
Because it's a huge topic. You could speak for an entire afternoon here for that.
Okay.
Please, help me.
Good morning to all. I am Chitre. I work with a company called KIGG UK. We are a smart metering company, plus we are in a IoT domain. Over the years, I have had experience to work with the leading companies as a leadership role, a company like TCS, Landis+Gyr Switzerland, Alstom France, and I have gathered certain insights into suppliers' mind chain. I also interact for last 45 years with power utilities all over the world. And we have understood there are two serious problems the power utilities have in adaptation of technologies. These two problems are the validation of the technologies and the execution skills. What does happen is, traditionally, the power utilities are a little bit conservative when it comes to technologies because of the manpower that they carry or the finances they carry. So what we came out with a concept is called creating center of excellence for power utilities. We have been working with a couple of universities in past, and what we realized that universities have a lot of good teachers, but sometimes the teachers are more like preachers. They preach their concepts, they really don't teach what is required. So we came with a concept that we will start a center of excellence for power distribution utility with the idea to get net zero. Now, how do we do it? Next one. This one. So our concept of COE will have a threefold approach. One is creating a simulation center, second, training and testing tools, and sandboxing along with R&D. Simulation tools typically are what is available in the market tend to be country specifics or product specifics. There are not really 100% customizable for the Indian situations that we have come across. So we propose a customized tools for simulation, which will take in the advantage of hardware in loop as well as digital twin. So we have solution which will also use the deep learning tools to impart the knowledge and create a simulated platform for a utility. This is the area we also need that a lot of things can happen. Traditionally, the knowledge has been given by the universities and the DISCOMs in a very unstructured manner and not augmented by actual physical testing and knowledge impartation. So we propose to set up NABL labs, around 25 to 30 labs, wherein all physical trainings of meters, relays, breaker, transformer, everything can be done, which are used in the power sector on the distribution side. This will be useful for fresh engineers as well as upskilling of existing DISCOM people and field technicians. Coming to the most critical aspect is a lot of technologies are available, but they are not financially validated. If you go to any banker or an insurance company and come up with a saying about digitization, the first thing they want to know is what is the differentiator, who is going to prove the validity of your solution. Now, this is a concept that sandboxing is what we do along with R&D, is to provide a space where econometric studies can be done, where the products can be developed and physically tested in an environment that we are providing. We have tied up with the power utility in India, wherein we are creating this sandboxing and a center of excellence. The idea is to train people. The idea is to bring in the new technologies in the shortest possible way. Thank you very much. I hope I have been fast enough.
I think you deserve the first prize. Thank you very much. But please keep in mind, there is a center of excellence there, and you need to definitely look at it, use it, maybe abuse it, make sure that you have people involved in there, and this will help considerably achieve whatever we heard up to now on this panel. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite a very interesting presentation, because whatever we discussed up to now, you see, as a utility person, I can tell you that we always underestimate the amount of data that we need to consider, that we need to manage, to host. And not just about the amount of data, but also the time response of all of this. So let's see what companies and providers can actually give us as an enabling platform, enabling infrastructure to make that happen. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Richard. Hello, everyone. I'm Sainath. I'm a solutions architect with Amazon Web Services. So I'll touch on a specific topic of digital twins again, and how you can improve your operations using digital twins. Can you bring up the slides, please? Yeah. So how you can use digital twins to improve your operations. Right. So if we look at the utilities, so if we look at the utility, yeah, the right, okay, it's not working. Yeah. Sure, yeah. So if we look at utilities, we all know that it is asset intensive, right? I mean, be it generation, transmission, distribution, and over the past few decades, we have done a lot of IoT implementation to gather data. So when we say IoT, it could be the smart metering, PMUs, it could be SCADA, it could be transformer monitoring, a lot of such IoT systems that we have implemented. And over time, these systems have gathered loads of data, right? So it could be transactional data, it could be time series data. So different kinds of data sets which we have gathered over time. And how well are we utilizing this data is something needs to be seen. I mean, though some utilities are utilizing this data to run some analytics on top of it, some are doing AI ML into it, or some are just storing it, and some are even probably deleting the data because they don't have space to store it, right? And at the same time, there are a lot of regulatory compliance related requirements, all of these which boil down to how well do we maintain the assets that we have. So if we have to talk about some of the KPIs which all the utilities know, it could be SAIDI, SAIFI, PLF, any of these, all these boil down to the asset uptime that we have, right? So now, can you move to the next one? So one of the ways that utilities are looking at, or for that matter, many other organizations are looking at, is to build digital twins, right? So if we have to define what digital twins are, it's more of a digital representation of a physical system, which is mimicked based on, say, the structure, the data that we have gathered over the past history or in near real time. So they're trying to build this so that they can come out with some business outcomes in order to improve their operations. So it could be in terms of reducing the time to repair, or avoiding failures, or in terms of training or testing or simulation. So different kinds of business outcomes based on which customers are using digital twins for. Now, so there are various digital twin levels. So one, if we start with, it's more of a descriptive where you just have a static view of, say, generation plant, right? I mean, what is the design, where are the assets located, where is the turbine, where is the boiler? So it's more of a static view which they build in a digital twin. And going to the next level of L2, what they started doing is to integrate IoT data into it, right? So they bring all the IoT device data, they include the asset history, which could be the planned maintenance which is done, or unplanned maintenance which is done, or the maintenance schedules which are there. And the third level which we can look at in digital twin is more in terms of building predictive models on top of it, right? Say, for example, you are building a digital twin for a power transformer, right? So one is you have the past kW, kVA, APF kind of factors of all for the power transformer. And you also run some predictive analytics on top of it and try to predict what could be the load on these power transformers for the next 48 hours, right? So you are having a history of how the power transformer has been doing and what could be the future predictions as well, right? And the fourth one is more of a much more advanced way where you have real-time views of the IoT data flowing in, the maintenance histories, or putting together multiple assets there to see the change in impact in parameters for one of the assets. How could it impact the linked assets there? So this is how the digital twins implementation is going on from various, say, organizations or utilities. Right? Can you skip this and go to the next one? Okay. So how does it work, right? So if you really want to build a digital twin on your own, how does it work? Right? So if you see at the bottom, there are different kinds of data sets that you have. So it could be operational maintenance history, it could be the asset-related information, it could be real-time IoT data, it could be, say, video feeds, which would be there, say, probably in the substations that you have, or inside a generation plant that you have. So all these put together are coming into one single place on which you build a digital twin. So if I have to, say, build a digital twin for a particular, say, wind turbine, right? So I have a wind turbine. I don't own any wind turbines, but if you have to build a digital twin for a wind turbine, what you can do is you first model a particular asset. Say you have bought multiple wind turbines from an OEM which is deployed at multiple sites, right? So what you do is you create a model of that, saying that this is the manufacturer, this is the date of installation, this is the rating, this is the generation capacity, and some dynamic attributes. And then you create a model, and then you assign it to different sites where your wind farms are running. And to this, you attach all the real-time data which is linked to that asset. What you also do is you run some predictive models on top of that to, say, identify what could be the failure rate, what could be the future loading on that one. So all these kind of predictive models and all this put together is what you can come out with a digital twin. And the name that you see here is AWS IoT Twin Maker, which is a tool that you can use to build a digital twin. So it could be for a, say, wind turbine, it could be for a transformer, it could be for a transmission line, it could be for a substation. So different use cases using, which can be built using the tools which are available for Twin Maker. And you can link all of these together, though they might be sitting in different systems. Like, asset and maintenance history could be sitting in a, say, asset management system, or IoT data could be sitting in a different system, or your CAD diagrams could be sitting somewhere else, right? So you bring all of these together and put in one single place and, have this digital twin built. Shashi, next one. Yeah. So some of these top use cases are, in terms of improving the asset performance, based on the predictions that you see, and identify if there could be any potential failures, or you use this data to see if there are any anomalies in the way this particular asset is performing, right? And then you do a root cause analysis to see what could be the reason for failure, or what could be the actions that I could take to avoid failures. And the next one is in terms of, say, connecting remote experts. So a lot of us have these assets running, and many a times we would need remote experts to look at how, what caused a failure in a particular asset, right? So that is where digital twins can really be helpful to give a view to the remote experts to at least do an initial diagnosis of what could have gone wrong, instead of waiting for those people to come over and wait for days and then do the analysis. Right. So these are some of the benefits which I've already briefed in the previous slides, and I am available at booth in the exhibition area, and we have covered quite a few solutions around, say, metadata analytics, energy storage monitoring, so different kind of solutions that are available at our booth. So me and my colleagues are available whole day. Feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Big round of applause for Sainath. A big round of applause for the entire panel here, as we are just on time. I mean, we've been using exactly 2 minutes before we got to the 90 minutes time credit. So we are on time, but we will need to leave the room quickly as there is another session starting. And I see the organizer.
I request you to please present the mementos to the speakers, please. So first, Mr. Elad Shaviv, Director Business Development, Israel Electric Corporation. Next is Mr. S. Samantha, Chief D&IT, Tata Power Company Limited. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Rajpal Gohar, Business Head and Executive, SEW. Mr. Jayant Kumar, Vice President and Business Head, Digital Energy Solutions. Mr. Sainath, Senior Solutions Architect, Amazon Internet Services. Mr. Chitre, CEO, Kick Systems India Private Limited. Mr. Vineet Mishra, Technology Consultant, Power and Utility, E&Y. Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar, for joining us virtually. Can you hear us? Yeah. I would request everyone to please have a group photo. So I'll present.